A few years ago, a group of researchers in Munich, Germany, conducted a simple but unusual experiment. 60 people completed the same cognitive test twice with a 10-minute break in between. The only variable introduced during that break was the type of activity. Some participants sat quietly with no stimulation. Others checked Twitter. Others watched a traditional YouTube video. And others used TikTok, freely scrolling through the feed. When the test was repeated, the differences were striking. They weren't about a vague notion of attention, a term that's hard to define precisely. They concerned a specific cognitive function, the ability to keep an intention active while being engaged in another task. This study is one of the few that tries to experimentally test what is often summarized with the informal expression brain rot, a non-scientific term used to describe a supposed cognitive decline linked to fragmented digital content. Before going any further, if you're interested in understanding the human mind, how it works, society, or simply yourself, subscribe to the channel and support the community with your ideas. Leaving a comment is enough. To understand the meaning of these results, we need to zoom out. Short-form video feeds have become a central component of the global media ecosystem. TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts now account for a growing share of total digital media exposure. Platforms don't release full attention data publicly, but investor communications reveal the scale. Tens of billions of daily views and a significant portion of total time spent inside apps. This shift isn't just about content length. It's about interface design and the kind of interaction required from the user. A key element here is how much real control a person has over what they consume. In some digital systems, users actively decide what to watch, when to start, and when to stop, choosing from visible and predictable options. In others, content is presented one piece at a time without an explicit choice, and interaction is reduced to reacting to whatever appears on the screen. Internal documents revealed during U.S. legal proceedings show that some platforms attribute their success precisely to this mechanism: automatically selected content and fewer conscious decisions required from the user. The system observes behavior, watch time, scrolling, and uses those signals to decide what comes next without the user ever having to form a deliberate choice. From a cognitive perspective, this structure produces a rapid sequence of minimal decisions, continue or stop, with no long-term planning. Unlike traditional media, where the choice happens before consumption, here selection is spread over time and heavily driven by automatic responses. This kind of interaction only works with short content because frequent interruption is built into the system. Short duration isn't an aesthetic choice, it's a functional consequence of reduced deliberate control. Similar effects have been observed in other digital environments, like dating apps based on sequential profile swiping. There too, presenting one option at a time led to a progressive simplification of information and greater reliance on automatic reactions rather than reflective preferences. When an interface captures fast reactions, it tends to optimize content to maximize them, creating a feedback loop between user behavior and the structure of what's offered. To ask whether all this makes us dumber, we have to abandon vague claims and focus on specific measures. Attention includes multiple components: attentional capacity, motivation, and environmental competition between stimuli. Observational studies of computer-based work show that the average time before switching tasks on a screen has decreased from tens of minutes to under a minute. But these data also reflect more notifications and interruptions, not just internal changes in people. In laboratory tests, where motivation and distractions are controlled, some performances haven't worsened over decades. In standardized visual tasks, adults show average improvements. In children, response styles change: faster answers, more errors. This suggests there isn't a single uniform attention capacity that simply degrades. Research on short-form feeds therefore focuses on narrower functions. In a study conducted in China, University students completed a cognitive reflection test after 30 minutes of reading or using a video feed. The group that used the feed scored lower. In a variation of the study, video content didn't matter, but the ability to scroll freely did. Watching the same videos in a continuous sequence without skipping reduced the effect. This suggests that what matters isn't brevity or topic, but how interaction is structured. A similar pattern appears in studies on prospective memory. In the Munich experiment, participants had to keep a secondary rule in mind while performing a primary task. After the break, only those who had used TikTok showed a significant drop in remembering the secondary intention. Performance on the main task remained unchanged, indicating a selective effect. A British replication added another detail. Limiting the number of scrolls eliminated the performance drop. This strengthens the idea that unstructured and potentially unlimited exposure promotes a cognitive state in which internal goals are harder to maintain. Functionally, the system seems to shift resources towards immediate reactivity at the expense of intentional continuity. These studies have clear limits: small samples, artificial tasks, short-term effects. There's still no solid evidence on long-term consequences or how these findings translate to everyday life. And observed associations don't automatically imply causality in natural settings, where people choose when and how to use these tools. Still, one structural point remains. Interfaces that reduce deliberate control over experience tend to shape not only consumption behavior, but content production as well. When attention is fragmented and driven by automatic signals, creators are incentivized to work faster, replicate formats, and optimize for immediate metrics. This creates a systemic dynamic where both consumers and producers adapt to the same constraints. From a theoretical perspective, these observations align with a view of experience as a function of what we selectively attend to. In environments dense with stimuli, selection becomes less deliberate and more automatic. This isn't a value judgment about content. It's a description of how cognitive control mechanisms are being reshaped. The current empirical picture doesn't allow definitive conclusions, but it does reveal recurring patterns. Rapid interaction, unlimited scrolling, and automated personalization are associated with measurable short-term changes in specific cognitive functions. The long-term consequences remain an open question, one that will require longitudinal studies and tools better suited for the complexity of real life. Thank you. This channel will continue exploring the human mind and human behavior with a logical, analytical approach. To follow future analyses, subscribe to the channel.